screw it back up and it's done.
I'm so about that. That sounds amazing.
I hate slapping. I don't want to ever be around that.
The first thing that you and I did on a podcast was you slapped my butt.
You made me do it, and I didn't want to.
Actually, it's even better in a leather skirt if you want to try again.
Okay.
Is this
I
the
mean,
podcast?
no, Maud, I don't want to do that.
First you got to say, goat
bit.
bag, and then you slap it.
Is that how it works? Ready?
I can't be
Dude,
slapping
this is
ass.
happening.
But I'm in a leather skirt.
Yeah, somebody switch to a different camera so that Maud could have privacy
Maud,
getting up.
Why am I the one that has to do this? You want me to
I'm
do this?
making you a man.
Listen, I was recording podcasts before it was cool. I'm pretty sure She Didn't Text Back, we were doing that in either 2013 or 2014. And now everybody wants to be a podcaster. Everybody and their mother a decade later has a podcast. I say this because I can honestly say I know for a fact that I have overshared on the internet before. And I want to talk about the network star to podcaster timeline. I think that they're all finding out that it's a lot harder than they thought it was. It turns out it actually takes a lot of talent to not get yourself canceled one podcast in.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Celebrity Kitchen. I am Shia LaBeouf.
You are not mistaken. That is A-list child star actor Christy Carlson Romano from Kim Possible and Even Stevens pretending to be Shia LaBeouf for a YouTube cooking show sketch. A lot of people don't know the difference between this is a cool conversation to have in real life, and saying this online might have huge consequences.
Yeah, tell me about your first relationship. When did you first realize that you had lady parts? You know what I'm saying? And
Welcome to the pod,
being
Jennifer.
on the pod with
well,
Lindsay.
just because I feel like Jennifer.
Welcome.
This is how I see Jennifer.
It's pretty fun to watch, actually. There's a huge difference in having stage presence as an actor and having stage presence as an internet personality. You have to be a lot more hip. There's no writers on the internet. And I think a lot of people just don't know how they're feeling is just, sometimes in podcasts, we've done it, especially on the SourceFed podcast. There are some episodes where we are just complaining, and the people don't want to see that. But you know what it is that they do want to see? Character development. Like, let's see Baby Will go from being kid from Everybody Hates Chris to being femdomed or something.
I don't want to slap anybody. So I never got
violent
that.
act. 10 seconds left, round one. Oh, short right hand and drops him.
And that's how, they all started liking each other. And
I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
Do you, now that you sometimes with women get intimate, do you slap on the behind?
Hell no. I couldn't hit
You're
anybody.
afraid?
Do it
I'm
right now.
afraid.
Do it.
I
Do
could.
it.
Thank you. All you so much to me. I could do none of this without the line of in that love me.
I'm saying this because Maud knows what she's doing. I had barely lost my virginity that year. I wasn't and I'm still not even there. Like, she knows. Let's be honest with ourselves for a second. Maud is the most traditionally experienced member of SourceFed. For some reason, when it was time to bring on a new cast member, myself and Darren were in charge of the auditions, and that's when we met Maud. I've actually never seen the footage of it before, but did you know that Maud is a Nickelodeon star? She told me about it, and I actually found the footage.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, totally true, Kyle. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, it's been great. But tomorrow's going to be a huge show. We've got two superstars dropping by to use our loot. Zac Efron and Nikki Blonsky from the movie Hairspray.
Information declassified. Operative, you.
Impressive. So Maud actually really helped me with my presentation skills. I credit her for helping me go from a character-based presentation style into speaking more like a natural, real person. And she would help me with little parts in the script. So I think that people, like, she presents herself as like, like a nerdy, just like all around fun having person. But in terms of technical skill, in terms of being a presentation and being a host, she was, she did a lot before and since. I'm definitely the least important person that Maud has been on a podcast interview with. What is she saying to Timothée Chalamet now?
Are you bummed you didn't get the sand action?
Yeah, of course. I mean, watching him on the Sandworm, that was
one of the coolest sequences I've seen in a long time.
How do you do it? Show me the techniques.
The techniques are crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, just like
Did
that.
it. We just did it.
That's how I had my.
It's like, Maude, leave The Rock and Kevin Hart alone.
You're laughing at me.
I'm not laughing.
I'm also a
no.
huge, since Ryan's laughing at me, I thought it might be
Wow.
perfect to bring this up. I'm a
you're
huge Xena
misinterpreting.
and Hercules fan, and Ryan was young Hercules.
Oh, I know.
And the world needs to know that.
I'm
and
very
the world
aware of this.
also needs to Google it right now.
I'm bringing all of this up to say that Maude is low-key a technical mastermind behind the scenes, because not only did this happen once, this happened twice.
It won't hurt so much.
I don't think so.
Please.
Woo.
Yeah.
You
Aw.
so
Oh, come
bad.
on. Get in there.
You so bad, Christian Grey.
How was it,
That
Maude?
is fun. I'm gonna admit.
Right?
I'm
Isn't
gonna
it
admit.
great?
And the first time, I was even younger, and now that I think about it and make this video, I'm pretty sure I was a passenger on Virgin Airlines at the time. She helped me in ways that I didn't know I needed help. I didn't know I needed to level up like this, and the child star actors want to have these moments too, but they're learning that there's a huge difference between character development for their character on the show, which you can sensationalize and make more and more interesting every week, but it's a lot more comfortable to you when it's a character, not your real life persona.
Do you remember the first XYZ that I
What are
gave
you gonna ask on this
Do you remember-
podcast? What are you gonna ask on this public podcast, Lindsay?
Do you remember that?
The first what?
The first one, Devin.
First what?
BJ.
I actually do. You really want to talk about this on the pod?
I just wanted to say that I felt like a failure from that point because
He didn't finish.
I know. Yep.
No.
You didn't. You didn't. After a moment, he just said, "Thanks. Okay." And you got up and you went to the bathroom and you did your thing.
No.
So the thing about Christy Carlson Romano is that she was once an A-list kid actor. Ren from Even Stevens, Kim Possible. She was doing it. All those Disney Channel original movies, we was loving it. And she's made so many videos explaining how she did, in fact, blow all of her money. So now I think she has like a podcasting network or something like that. She has recently pivoted to YouTube and podcast content because, let's be honest, being an actor is a lot. In her own words, she spent all of her money. She's made tons of videos explaining how it happened.
Took a lot of that money and put it towards not having student loan debt. That was smart, sure. Except that I left school a year and a half in, so I would go to the stores, I would buy really big ticket items from like Ralph Lauren. So much so that I actually had a friend who worked there and was my personal shopper.
And I know a lot of like normie folks are asking themselves, they're like, you're an actor who was a huge child star. Why don't you just go get a whole bunch of acting jobs? And if you're not really into the industry, let me break down the economics to you for an actor on any level compared to a podcaster, YouTuber person. The fact of the matter is that people make a lot less money as an actor than people think that they do. People think that you do one season of a TV show and you only had like 2 or 3 episodes out of a 15 episode season. They think you made $1 million. You probably made like $10,000. $15,000. And we all know rent is expensive, especially when you're an actor celebrity and you have to be living a certain lifestyle. You got one really big gig this year. It was 4 episodes of a season. You're gonna spend that on rent money in less than 6 months. But actors used to be able to get away with it because their daily lives weren't on display. But I guarantee you now, these managers, these agents, they're saying you have such a big presence on social media. You need to be posting more content that we could be putting brand deals on because that's where the real money is. So, not only are you a now popular actor because you've done 2 seasons on a really popular show, you now have to spend so much money on your lifestyle.
Selena Gomez in the window. So excited for this. Selena!
Hi!
Hope you're ready for the 73 questions interview. Not before we put on some intro music.
Great, cue it up.
Okay, so let's say you actually didn't even make 15,000. Let's say you made 30,000 on that one movie that you did, your small role, but it blew you up in popularity. Now, your manager is going to want 15%. Your agent is going to want 10, 15%. And then your manager and agent are going to be like, we need to hire a business manager for you because we're not going to handle your money. So you need to also pay that guy 5%, 7%. And guess what? You have to pay taxes on 100% of that money. So what I'm saying is being an actor is more expensive than people think it is. Think about it. How many millionaire YouTubers can you name? Tons. But how many millionaire actors can you name? You know all of them. We see them in the same movies. That's it. When they do the Oscars or whatever, that's all the ones that are making $1 million. Yeah, the streamies is not every millionaire YouTuber or influencer. There are tons of these AI YouTubers who outsource 100% of everything in a content farm and have millions of dollars and nobody knows who they are. On top of that, faceless YouTubers who nobody knows who they are making way more money than the voice actors. All of them. The truth is, the industry is in such an uncertain state and has been for more than 4 years now. Everybody at every single level of the industry is asking themselves, is AI going to replace my job? Even as a background actor, as a script writer, as a VFX artist, we just don't know where it's gonna go. And when you're a child actor, you've already been in this industry for so many years, over 10 years. You could be 30 years old, 15 years into the game. And what you're starting to realize is that you need money in order to succeed. So they've been looking at YouTubers for the past, 10 years, laughing at us YouTubers and saying, but at the same time, seeing YouTubers make money. And now they're all realizing, I need money to continue my situation. The acting gigs aren't coming in. You know who's making money on long form content? Podcasters.
Give me consent. Give me verbal consent.
Right here on my tuchus.
You have to scream goonbag though before you do it.
This.
Promise me you'll scream goonbag.
Most people like doing this shit, right? Goonbag. And that's all right with you? That's okay with you.
She initiated it happening.
You like that happening to you?
That was a good pressure.
I felt it made a good sound.
It did. That's the leather skirt effect.
Yeah.
There you go.
I should start slapping ass now.
I like to think that before you got on this podcast, you were like, how the fuck can I get somebody to slap me out?
Everybody saw Spotify pay Joe Rogan over $100 million to sit up there and talk to people while also being one of the most influential people there is. Look at Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah quit The Daily Show to do a podcast. Waking up and doing a TV show for millions of dollars was too much work. He's like, you know what? I'd rather just do the interview segment and just do a podcast. Making podcasts is the easy. So what also people know about the internet in today's day and age is watch time, watch length. When you watch somebody's TikTok, you only watch them for 5 to 15 seconds. In order to watch one hour podcast length of information on one podcast, you would have to scroll that podcaster's page for an hour. And when have you ever scrolled one person's page for an hour? My rule for actors to know if they're a good actor is if you can't tell what they're like in real life. Like, there's so many actors that you're like, you play so many different characters. I'm not sure which is the real you. The bad actors are no offense, the very regular actors are the ones where they play the same role in every movie. And that's really how they present themselves in the interviews. Like, that's not acting. That's just walking out there and being yourself, which is very difficult to do as well. But doing a podcast is going to ruin that entire allure of being a mysterious actor who comes out with a new character every time. We know who you are.
Wow, you just squeezed my whole tit.
Dude, I'm not gonna look at it because it's creepy, but look at all of this hair! It is a jacket! You were wearing an undervest at all times. Somebody said, take your shirt off, you couldn't.
What was that?
Somebody said, take your shirt off, you couldn't. Alyssa goes, Dev has a lot of hair, doesn't he? Like, and I was like, yeah. We were just talking about hair.
I come from hairy people.
No, it's great though, because it's groomed, but it's also plush.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot there.
I started screen recording when I realized that Lindsay was acting pretty erratic, and I'm not sure why she was acting that way. As far as I'm aware, she's sober. This may just be her personality.
And let's be honest with ourselves here for a moment. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be humble about this, but comedians are the best at recording podcasts. But actors, they're like, okay, I'm an entertainer. I have a quirky personality. That's the same as a comedian who's spent their entire life thinking of the perfect way to phrase a sentence as to be as funny as possible and offending as little or as many people as possible. Yeah, it's not the same.
Everything, and now I just want to know what
gotta
it's
know.
like
God.
inside
Know
that
about the
libido.
First, like sexual experience? Is that what you're like? The first time I was aware that I wasn't like
Either on your own when you first became aware that you love your stuff, or with another person. Actually, both.
I don't want to know about Jen's childhood libido, Lindsay.
I don't want to know about your child.
It was high. But
what in a relationship have you felt like most broken, or like what was the worst like breakup that you've ever had, or like the thing that you had to heal from for the longest?
It's real. It's tough.
Lindsay's just like
I'm
foreplay.
it's something I'm currently working on.
So what these actor people are learning is that one of the hardest parts about being a YouTuber is constantly having to come back harder and stronger every single time. In layman's terms, sensationalizing your life. You know, when you're on a TV show, the character's life gets sensationalized, not yours. And when it's your own life, it's a lot harder and it takes a lot from you. So they're realizing that they have to force these moments on their podcast, and it's tough.
Susie! Susie's on the dance floor.
He would make commercials about Disney's own projects, and they had a young kid and his sister talk about how wonderful the projects were. So people would then go buy and watch all of their products.
So you're hyping up.
It was Disney propaganda.
She too, like us all, is learning that some things you actually just don't have to share. You can tell for the last 20 years of her life, she's been constantly getting questions about Shia LaBeouf. And because of her situations, she's decided to say, you know what, let me flip my brain about this and be a true entertainer. And she's like, if you guys want to know about Shia LaBeouf, I'm going to finally talk about him. And she is going hard at it. And if you didn't know that, out of context, it would seem like he's living in her head rent-free.
Shia LaBeouf is in the news. People look to me because I played his sister. And so people
Right.
are like, well, what's her 10 cents on it? Or what does she think?
Yeah.
And, oh, look at how great she's doing, but he's not. It's like they can't help themselves because
Yeah.
they were grown up, or they grew up seeing us in a very particular way. And then with Hillary, it's like, oh, you know, either Christy is good like Hillary, like they both didn't go crazy, or if anything ever were to come out like, oh, you know, Hillary's so great. And I never got direct comparisons for her being great and me not. It's more like they grouped me in with being part of like the celebrities that didn't lose my which, let's face it,
that's good.
every single celebrity has lost their you just don't know it.
Yeah, of course.
I remember right after SourceFed ended, and Sugar Pine 7 was doing really well. I had literally 2 or 3 people come up to me in 2017 and say to me that, like, Steven Suptic is doing so much better than you right now. Specifically that. And I was like, wow. And I've had other people tell me that happened to them at the time. And, I'm sure she experienced a lot of that with Shia LaBeouf because he was in transformations. And but on a greater level, because she said in her content, she's gone, they have a brother and sister dynamic that people expect to be real. So in conclusion, it's okay to grow and change. You don't have to hold yourself to the person you were when you were a kid. Maybe you don't have to follow that dream. Part of growing up, growing, and changing is realizing, yes, you do have to go and get some money. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to protect yourself and protect your family. Maybe you don't have to be an actor. The technological singularity is upon us. The robots are about to outnumber us. So you might as well focus on the one thing you do have, your humanity. The things that make you human. Maybe it's okay you're never gonna have an Oscar, but are you a good person? Did you leave the world better than it was when you came in it? That's what really matters. So please subscribe on me and like on my channel, please. I need it.